What's up, guys? Just here by my channel. Tonight we'll be doing V for Aew Dynamite, so let's get to it then. Alright, first match is All-Star 8-man tag. King Omega, Speedball, Mike Bailey, Kevin Knight, and Mark Briscoe versus the Young Bucks, Kinoshika Okada, and Ricochet. The drawing swing action rate for Sky, all that stuff, blah blah. Okay, first settle in the ring score circle. Now the theme for blah blah. Doing the Marcus Elite. Sorry, I'm trying to skip the entrances. Anyways, after the bell sounds, we see Omega and Okada. Okada seeming ready to kick things off for the respective teams. Okada backs up to tag in Nicholas, who calls for Omega to tag in Bailey. Kenny turns his back to look at his partner for the night, and this causes enough of distraction for the Bucks to rush in for a sneak attack. From there, Nicholas and Kenny lock up, with Nicholas taking control from the ropes, wrenching the Best Bout Machine's arm over and over before bringing him to the ropes for a tag to Okada. Double team from Okada, and Matthew continues to work on the arm of Omega before Ricochet tags in to cause even more damage. Omega fights back, wrenching the arm of Ricochet before handing him over to an annoying Matthew. Matthew, who goes to work on his arm instead, until he realizes, feeling the very bald head of Ricochet, that he's made a huge mistake. Omega continues the attack, bringing Ricochet to the corner for a tag to Bailey. He quickly tags Knight in for a double team on Ricochet, tag mate to Briscoe, and Ricochet has finally had enough as he makes the tag to Matthew, only for the former RH World Champion to take the fight to him as well. Chaos and sways as all 8 men get into it throughout at a not at one can land an elbow drop on another before they stand off. This led to a brawl to clear the ring. Aside from the Bucks, Briscoe and Bailey with the EVPs getting cleared out of the ring with a double crane kick. On that note, the show shifts gears and sails into a match commercial break. When we return, Bailey and Ricochet go at it until Matthew and Knight run in. Matthew and Ricochet send their opponents on a train ride courtesy of locomotion, Northern Lights suplex combination. Matthew poses with Ricochet to give him hair, guarding your still ball chant from the crowd as Matthew yells out for a brainbuster that he hits on Speedball. Ricochet does the same on Bailey, counters only for a tag to Okada to cut Mike off. An attempt by Okada to do a brainbuster leads to all 8 competitors in the ring, with the lead and Ricochet calling for a brainbuster, only for all 4 of them be taken down with a suplex instead. The ring is eventually cleared as Nicholas tags in, but so too does Kevin Knight, landing some hard kicks on Nicholas to send him to the corner. Kevin catches him with Hurricanrana, sending the EVP to the mat for a near fall. Nicholas fights back as Okada and Ricochet clear off the apron, allowing the Bucks and opening with the tag to Matthew before Omega tags in as well. Okada wants nothing to do with his old rival, who takes the fight to Matthew. He sets Bailey up for a slam, the mat off the bottom rope. At the same time, Omega is sent from the apron to the floor. On that note, the show heads to another mid-match commercial break as the action continues. In return, Mark Briscoe eventually gets the hot tag and does off his breakneck kung fu for a huge crowd pump. Everyone ends up hitting the ring in back-to-back fashion until the only men left standing are Omega and Okada. They milk the moment huge, and the crowd loves it. They finally start trading shots back and forth. Omega looks for a one-winged angel, but Okada avoids it. Okada hits a big drop kick. The Bucks hit a double super kick to Omega's throat. The Bucks, Ricochet, and Okada all set up for some super multi-man move. Knight and Bailey are down. Omega and Briscoe are hoisted up for 2 stumps, which are comboed with the top rope drop kicks from the Bucks. Okada goes for the cover, but Briscoe kicks out at 2. They call for a B-to-E trigger, but Briscoe avoids it and dumps them both to the floor. He does the same with Ricochet. He backs into a Rainmaker attempt from Okada. Briscoe avoids it and hits a J Driller on Okada for close 2 count. That Ricochet breaks up just in time. Ricochet is drop kicked off shoulders over the top and out to the floor. Omega follows up with a big dive over the ropes onto a pile of bodies in the ring. Briscoe hoists Okada up. He hits a rolling Death Valley driver and then heads up for a froggy bow. Ricochet shoves him off. Okada hits a Rainmaker on Briscoe and covers him for the victory. Excellent. Yeah, that was a good match. So winners are the Young Bucks, Konosuke Okada, and Ricochet. Yeah, it was a good match. Alright, her second warming up to MGF. We shoot backstage where we see the Hurt Syndicate trio of MVP and AEW World Tag Team Champions Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. They jump into some local talent backstage. That approach them, chanting, "We hurt people." MVP says it's fun to say until they actually hurt people. They then attack the man before having a chat before about MJF, who we will hear from later tonight. The group comes to an agreement where it seems like LJF might be getting 3 thumbs up. Finally, tonight we head to another commercial break after this. Alright, second match coming up, the Ops versus Nick Comoroto, or Red Titus, and Miles Hawkins. When the show returns, we see a 3-man tag team in the ring. When theme for the Ops hits, out comes the AEW Trios champions led by Samoa Joe. Titus and Joe start things off in a battle of ROH mainstays of different eras, with Joe sending Red to the corner for some punches before launching him across the ring as a Guri by Joe before tagging in Shibata, with Comoroto tagging in to try his hand against the wrestler. Some hard hits from both men before Shibata gets sent down hard. Hawkins tags in, but is quickly dispatched before it being sent to the opposite corner for a tag to Hobbs. He lays into Miles before hitting a body slam, followed by sending him to the corner for a series of lariats as a crowd chants "meet" over and over. Hobbs sets up for big spine buster, driving Hawkins down hard for the pin and the victory with the win. The Ops retain their AW Trios champions. So winners the Ops. Alright, so after the match, the Dead Riders attacked them afterwards and stuff. So, anyways, Renee Paquette sit down with interview with Mercedes Monet. From there, commentaries hypes the final of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament between Mercedes Monet and Jimmy Hayter. We then cut to sit down interview with the COO herself as she talks about her match at the AW Double or Nothing 2025, as well as the title she currently holds. She says that despite the name of the tournament, that is not about the Hearts. It's about her. Renee talks about Hayter's advantages going into the match, but Mercedes points to her undefeated record as proof that she can handle the challenge ahead of her. Every time she steps in the ring, she changes the game. Jamie reminds Monet a lot of herself, except for the goofy look. On that note, the one-on-one sit-down interview wraps up there, and the show has to a commercial break. Alright, Jay Lethal issues a challenge to Nick Wayne. Backstage, Nick Wayne is asked about representing the patriarchy and AEW in the upcoming Best of the Super Juniors tournament in New Japan. Christian Case insists all questions should be asked of him, but is interrupted by Jay Lethal, who wanting to see if the champ is ready to prove himself by defending the title tonight. Wayne tries to him and Hall about it before Cage accepts on his behalf. This garners a sour look from Wayne as Jay wishes him luck before walking off. Alright, next match, AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator Thomas match. Thomas Tony Storm versus Mio Yamashita. Alright, inside, we look back at the Storm and stuff, back in the ring, blah blah, heads, man. Alright, so it's co-art with the handshake before the two women lock up with the champ, finding herself, a side headlock by Mio. She fights out to wrench the arm, only for Yamashita to counter with some kicks, forcing Storm to the ropes. Tony fights back with the Lou Thez press for some punches, followed by a back breaker and a snap suplex. Storm heads up top, but is intercepted by a kick from Mio, forcing the champ to regroup on the floor outside. Yamashita goes for another kick, but is caught off by Storm, only for Miyu, how you want to say it, dodge a hip attack on the ring post, landing on some hard strikes on the ass of the timeless one. Luther tries to intervene, but is shoved away. Mio, then sends Storm out to the floor at ringside, With authority on that note, the show has to mid-match commercial break as the high-stakes AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator Open Challenge bout continues. When the show returns, Mayu is still in control of the match as she heads to the corner for a kick from the turnbuckle. Tony dodges it, leading to a trade of strikes between the champ and the women looking to earn a title shot. Yamashita with the waist lock that's counter with the elbow back with the back elbow, allowing Storm to hit a release German suplex, but is laid out with a spinning back kick from Mayumi. She struggles for a cover that costs her as the champ kicks out at two. Tony backs up, hitting a sky high for a near fall, followed by a Northern Lights suplex for the same result. Moments later, Tony Storm hits her Storm Zero finisher for the win. After the match, Mercedes Moné comes out and appears to call out Storm, only for Jamie Hayter to run her off. So winner is Times Tony Storm. Alright, segment coming up. Her Syndicate bring out MJF for another thumbs up slash downvote after Don Callis does his best job overselling Cal Fletcher ahead of his Owen Hart tournament match later in the show. In a backstage promo segment, return inside the Chartway arena where the best team in the business hits outcomes to her to get to the ring. MVP then mentions the thumbs up slash thumbs down again regarding the potential addition of a fourth member to her ticket. With that in mind, he asked us to help him in welcoming Maxwell Jacob Freeman. The theme for MGF hits, and now he comes to the ring. Cut my music, as he tries to talk. MVP cuts MJF's little speech off quickly and saying that let's get this done quickly. Thumbs up from MVP and Shelton Benjamin. We await the response of Bobby Lashley. He starts to give a thumbs down before turning it back up, only to give a firm thumbs down in the end. Much to MJF's target, MJF says he's about sick of Bob, asking him what exactly it is he wants. What is that would intrigue him? How about some Rogan or some? He stares down Lashley, who responds by shoving the former World Champion into the corner, reminding MJF that they hurt people, and if MJF wants to prove himself, he has to hurt somebody. On that note, Lashley finally relents as he regroups with MVP and Benjamin. The Hurt Syndicate make their way up the ramp as MJF favors his jaw while thinking over that Lashley told him as the segment comes to an end. Alright, next match coming up, RH Television Championship match, Nick Wayne versus Jay Lethal. When the show returns, Nick Wayne makes way out comes RH Code of Honor is not altered to Wayne as he refuses the handshake before talking the fight to Lethal early on. Jay fights back with some forearms, forcing the champ to take a break on the outside as Cage gives him some words of advice before Nick gets back in the ring. Wayne catches Lethal with a kick in the gut before sending him to the corner for some strikes until the challenger fights back, sending Wayne away for some strikes of his own. Nick takes advantage of an opening, but the champ is in trouble after a set of hip tosses and a dropkick by Lethal. The action spills to outside where Wayne takes Lethal down hard to regain control of the match as we go to a commercial break. When we return, Wayne sends the challenger back in the ring and in the corner for some damage, only for Lethal to hit a series of pinfall combination for falls and a lethal combination that yields the same result in the end as the champ manages to kick out. Jay goes up top but is intercepted by Wayne, who gets sent back to the mat by the challenger. Lethal goes for the elbow drop, but Wayne manages to counter for a crucifix pin and a 2-count giant screw by Lethal as he hits the ropes, but Wayne fights back before sending Lethal to the corner. Roadhouse kick connects, followed with a crisscross fisherman's buster, and the champ retains. Once the match wraps up, Cage enters the ring alongside the patriarchy, looking at the belt for a moment before putting it around the champion's waist for a round of applause from the group who leave the ring to allow Wayne to celebrate the title defense further. Winner and still RH World Television Champion Nick Wayne. Alright, main event coming up, Owen Hart Foundation Men's Tournament semifinals, Hangman Page versus Kyle Fletcher. Main event time following a pre-match, blah blah. Kyle Fletcher will return inside. Kyle Fletcher's first. The bell sounds and Fisher off and running with this one. The two-man lock up, but it doesn't take long for Page to take control, only for Fletcher to take a breather on the outside. He eventually gets back in the ring. Page looks to lock up again, but Fletcher counters with a side headlock to take Page to the mat. He then mocks him by running the Heyman, who gets back up to take Fletcher down hard. He sends the Protostar to the corner for some punches, but Kyle fights back for another side headlock, only to be knocked down by Page, who sets up for a buckshot lariat before Fletcher escapes the ring. Page barely gives room to breathe, running at him with the lariat on the floor. On that note, we head to a mid-match commercial break as the high-stakes main event continues. When the show returns, we see a replay of Fletcher being thrown into LED boards on the floor, resulting in his back having a massive laceration on it, bleeding pretty good too. Both men are in the ring again. Fletcher has control as he stands over Page, laying in a kick to the chest of Heyman and he starts booting at Page's face before Adam grabs his leg to stop. Both men are up, trading strikes until Fletcher counters out of dead eye, only to run into a lariat from off the ropes by Heyman. Now we see both guys get back to their feet to trade punches, with Heyman getting the upper hand as Fletcher hits the running corner lariat from Page, who brings Fletcher down with a snap mirror before looking for a dead eye again. Kyle fights out but gets caught by a Heyman for a Death Valley driver and a near fall. After Tombstone on the floor, we head to another mid-match commercial break. When the show returns after some more backboard action, hard hitting action, and a lot of near falls, we see Heyman avoid being put away and ultimately hitting his buckshot lariat for the win. With the win, Heyman Page versus Will Ospreay is set in the Owen Hart Cup finals at AEW Double or Nothing 2025, with the winner of that match earning an AEW World Championship match at AEW All In Texas. Tons of fight. That's all this visual out there. Thanks for listening. So winner and advancing, Heyman and Page. All right, that was a good show tonight. Yeah, some of it was good, and some good matches. The first match was good. I enjoyed that one, and all the way to I think like the main event and stuff, it was pretty good too. So yeah. So anyways, good show tonight and stuff. I enjoyed it, but anyways, that was it for this video. Hope you like it and whatever stuff. And so like, subscribe, hit the button, leave a comment. Hey guys, want to leave a comment stuff? I don't care what you guys do. And that was it. And I see you guys probably tomorrow night or something after I go watch Thunderbolts movie, which is Marvel. So I might do a review on that. I don't know. But anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow night or something, or maybe Friday mostly. So anyways, that was it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright, laters.